Hilchos Maaser Sheini v'neta Rabbi perek shishi. The laws of the second tithe, produce from the fourth year, chapter 6. Today is going to be all about money of Maaser Sheini, because the ideal scenario is, or the original scenario is, that you take produce of Maaser Sheini and you bring it to Yerushalayim. If you have too much produce, what do? You convert the produce onto money. The money becomes holy. You bring the money to Yerushalayim and you spend it there. What happens if Maaser Sheini money gets mixed with other money? That's the central question at the heart of everything we're going to learn today. So the Rambam begins with the following scenario. Halacha Aleph, Mois Chulin, Umois Maaser, Sheni Spazru. You have Chulin money, Chulin means just regular ordinary money, and Maaser Sheini money that got scattered all over the place. So there's a massive pile now on the floor of mixed up money. What you did is, you didn't touch the major mixture. V'liket mikanu mikan. You simply picked up coins from one side and coins from the other side. So because you picked up from two sides, masha liket lemaiser ad sheyashlim. Whatever you pick up belongs to Maaser Sheini, belongs to the second tithe, until you reach the total amount of Maaser Sheini that was in the mixture. The hashar chulin, and the rest is considered ordinary. So you have a mixture of $200 of Maaser, $100 of chulin, and you begin to pick up coins from all over the place. The first $200 belong to Maaser Sheini. After that, whatever remains is chulin. V'im bolal v'chafan. But if you mixed up the coins, okay, so just to use the scenario in which after they fell down, you mixed them all together before you picked anything up. You made a mix. That's one interpretation. Others say bolal v'chafan means you mixed them before they fell. First you mix the money.
Before it was 200 and 100.
Right.
Okay.
So you mix them up and then they fell. That's the two interpretations of balal. Balal either means they mixed them before or mixed them after. The point is, at one point, after they fell down, they were also mixed together. V'chafan, and then you scoop up a handful of the coins. Oisha liket mitzad echad umatza chaser. Or you only, in the other scenario where you didn't mix them, just they fell on the floor, and you picked up only from one side, not from two, and then you discover that some of the coins are missing. You don't have the full 200, 100, you don't have the full 300, you have a little less. So here, because either you mixed them up, or you only picked up from one side, so now you have different rules. You don't say that automatically what comes first is Maaser till you finish it. Now you go proportional. Keitzad, what does that mean? Hayu masayim Maaser Sheini u'meya chulin. Yeah, it began with a mixture of $300, 200 coins of Maaser Sheini, 100 coins of regular money. Nispazru, they got mixed up. Ublalan, and then, Nispazru, they scattered. Ublalan, then you mixed them all together. V'chafan hakoil, and you scooped up everything. Nimtzu masayim b'shivim, and what you come up with is 270. So 30 coins went somewhere, we don't know where they went. So because you mixed them together, so we divided proportionally. Hare meo shmeine mehen Maaser, v'tishim chulim. It's a ratio of 2 to 1. So the same way if it was the full 200, 100, you would say 200, 100 here.
Take the Maaser from the 270.
Exactly. So from 70 you go 180 and 90. Because you mix them, so the assumption now is that whatever you're going to pick up is coming from a mixture. And therefore when you divide them proportionally. In the case of 270, you go 180 and 90. Zeh haklal, this is the general guiding rule. Hamislaktin leMaaser Sheini. If you're just picking up a mess, you made a mess, and you're just picking them up one at a time, first you got to take care of Maaser Sheini. The hanivlalin, but if you mix them together after getting scattered, lefi cheshbon, now you go proportionally. Now when you go proportionally, you still don't know which coins are actually Maaser Sheini, which ones are not. You're just designating that. So what do? Masne ve'omer. After you've picked them all up, you make a stipulation and you say, Im elu shebiyadi hein ha'maaser hashar chulin. If what I'm holding, by luck, I got every single Maaser Sheini coin, so whatever remains in the pile, the 90, is Maaser. V'im hein chulin. If what I picked up, which is probably the chances are, what I picked up is partially ordinary money, hare ma'is ha'maaser b'chol makom shehein mechulalen alein. Let me transfer, in concept, all the money of the Maaser Sheini should come onto the money that I'm holding right now, and now we're good. So that's a case where a whole bunch of coins got mixed up. Now says the Rambam another scenario. Sela shel Maaser Sheini v'shel chulin shenisarvu. You have just 2 coins. 2 silver coins, 2 slaim. One selah belonged to Maaser Sheini, the second selah belonged to Chulin. Now they got mixed up. You forgot which one's which. Maybe besela mois. So you bring money equivalent to a selah. Best as if it's a regular, actual selah. But the Rambam says, afilu mois necheshes. It could even be copper coins. The point is, you bring other money, and you make a following trick. V'omer, and you say, selah shel Maaser Sheini b'chol makom shehi michuleles al hamois ha'elu. There's two silver coins here, right, in front of me. I don't know which one is which. So whichever one is Maaser Sheini, let the holiness jump to the coins that I'm holding, either the one selah or the copper coins. Ve'achar kach, now that you've done that, so both coins, both original silver coins, are now ordinary. Boireres hayafe shabishteyan, choose the better of the two. Today we don't understand this because all coins are minted equally. But in those days, all coins were minted out of actual metals, and they could rust, they could lose weight, they can get worn down. So you have two coins, you don't know which one's Maaser Sheini. Choose the better one. Umechalel hamois shel necheshes aleha, and now jump it back. You jump the holiness onto the copper coins, jump them back onto the silver one. And the beautiful selah will now go back to being Maaser Sheini. Halacha Gimel. Says the Rambam, what happens if a father gives the following instruction to his son? A person tells his son, hey, there's some Maaser Sheini money in that corner. The son goes and he finds a pile of coins in a different corner. Says the Rambam, we say they're different funds. What he found in the other corner is ordinary stuff.
Assuming that the money is still in the others.
No, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter?
Even if it's not there, we say that the Maaser Sheini money was taken, and what he found is chulin. Yeah, it's got to be the exact instruction. Omar loy, similar case, the father tells the son, Harei shamana. There's $100 of Maaser Sheini over there. Benimtza masayim. The son goes, he finds 200. Similar law, hashar chulin. The first 100, yeah, that's Maaser Sheini, but the other 100 is regular money. And the reason why the father said only 100 is because he was talking about the important stuff. It's important to know that there's $100 of Maaser Sheini there. Ritually speaking, you have to know that. But there's 200, the rest could be chulin. If the father says there's 200 and it turns out that there's actually 100, where is it over here? Yeah, 200 turns out to be 100. The whole 100 is chulin because we say that the 200 was taken and other funds were put over here. That's all if he's giving an instruction to somebody else. What about him himself? He puts down $100 of Maaser and he comes back and says, I know I put 100 here, but I found 200. Or he puts down 200, he finds 100. And even if it's two different wallets, hakal chulin. All of it is chulin. If you didn't find what you put there, the whole thing is in doubt, and the whole thing has to be considered regular money. Halacha dalid, amar le aviv. A father tells the son, kis Maaser Sheini li babayis. I have a pouch of Maaser Sheini money in this house. Go play hide and seek. Go find the pouch of Maaser Sheini money. Halach umatza sham shleisha kisim. Goes the son, looking around, he finds 3 pouches. Now what do you do? Hagadol shel v'kulan Maaser v'hashar chulin. Says the Rambam, the biggest one. In other words, you don't know, so you got to give Maaser Sheini the most. So whatever is the most amount of money in the wallet goes to Maaser Sheini. The rest is chulin. The afal pikei, nevertheless, lo yoichal min haktanim ad sheyechal aleim al hagadol. You can't eat any of the money from the smaller pouches until you transfer the kedusha, if there is potentially, to the bigger bag. So at the end of the day, the bigger bag is going to go to Maaser Sheini, but you're also going to transfer the holiness in the other bags. Halacha, hey, misha nishtatek, if somebody became mute. Guy's mute, can't talk. They asked him, Maaser Sheini shalcha b'makom pleni? Hey, is that your Maaser Sheini money or produce in that place? V'hirkin b'rosheh, and he nods his head. So the nod itself is not enough. It's an initial indication that he understands what's going on, but now, we have to ask him the question 3 times in 3 different ways. Like we check for a divorce. When a person becomes mute and we want to know if he should divorce his wife, so we ask him in the positive, in the negative, and in the positive. Should we divorce your wife? Are you saying we shouldn't stay married? In other words, make sure that he's understanding all the ways. And then his words will be trusted to the point in this case that if we believe him, whatever money he's talking about will be considered to be Maaser Sheini. Halacha vav. Interesting halacha. Amrulei b'chaloin. Guy is sleeping. They come to him in a dream and they say, Maaser Sheini shalavicha she'ata mevakesh harehu b'makom pleini. We know that you're looking for your father's Maaser Sheini money, and we'll tell you where it is. It's under the bridge, whatever. It's in a certain place. Afal pi shemotza sham ma shenemar lo. Even if he finds what he said, the dream came true. Einay Maaser. The produce or the money that he finds there is not Maaser. Why? Divrei chaloimos loy mailin v'loy meridin. According to halacha, words spoken in a dream don't bring you up, don't bring you down. In other words, they have no significance at all. Halacha zayin ha'omer lebanov. A person tells his children, Afilu atem mesim al tigu bezavizu. Even if it costs you your life, don't touch what's in that corner. Even if your life depends on it. V'nimtzu sham mois. And then later on, the sons, they go, they don't listen to their father, and they find money. Hare elu chulin. We don't consider them to be Maaser Sheini. The reason the father said this funny threat is not because he wanted to bring out how holy the produce is and the money is. It's regular money. Taman mois mipneim. If he buried money in front of them. V'amar lahem, and he told them, shall pleini hein, shall Maaser Sheini hein. I'm putting away this money. It belongs to this person X, or it belongs to Maaser Sheini. So we have to see what his attitude was. Im kimayrim, if his attitude was like facetious, he was making a joke or being tricky, ein chesheshin lidvarav, we don't worry about what he said. In other words, probably he was just announcing that the money belongs to somebody, so he shouldn't seem rich, or whatever it is. But you can tell that he was making a trick. V'im kimiskavim, but if he was serious, dvarav kayamin, his words are true, and you have to believe him what he says. Halacha ches. There was a time in Jewish history when it was very hard to keep Jewish law, and the government was after you. So the Jews came up with tricks, how to tell other people that there's special produce or special money in a specific barrel. And that was what we call today Rashi Tevot, an acronym, abbreviations. The Rambam says, Hamoitzi kli. A person finds a utensil, the kasuv alav mem. And all it has is a letter mem. Letter mem, says the Rambam, Harei masher b'soichei Maaser Sheini. What's inside it means Maaser Sheini. Second tithe, whatever you find in the jar is Maaser Sheini. Dalid, demai. If you find a dalid, it means that what's inside it is demai, questionable produce. Tes, tevel. If you have a tes, it's tevel, means untithed produce. Tuf, truma. The tuf is an abbreviation for truma, holy stuff for the Kohen. Kuf, korban. If you see a kuf, it's a sacrifice, it's holy. If it was a metal container, not an earthenware container, hu umashe b'soichei korban. Both it, the container itself, and what's inside it is considered to be sanctified for a sacrifice. Shekena yukaisvin ois achas min Hashem b'shas hasakana. The Rambam says the reason for all these laws is because in times of danger, that's what Jews did. They used to write one letter from a word, and that's what it would mean. It would be an abbreviation. Halacha tes. Ma'is hanimtzois b'Yerushalayim. Okay. In Yerushalayim, there were basically 2 times of year. There were busy times of year and not busy times of year. Busy times of year were the times around the holidays. Shlosh Regalim. Shlosh Regalim, there were people coming from all over Israel. And it was a great time to use Maaser Sheini money. If you lived in Tzfat, right, far away, your Maaser Sheini would accumulate over the year. And every time, Pesach, Shavuot, Sukkot, you would gather all your produce, turn it into money, take a whole bunch of cash, come to Yerushalayim and use it there to spend. Then you have the non-busy times of year. That's just when there's nobody around, just people in Yerushalayim. So that's the first thing to consider. That when there's a not busy time of year, the majority of money, the majority of people there are from Yerushalayim themselves, and they probably wouldn't be using Maaser Sheini money. During the busy times of year, there's a majority of people that are using Maaser Sheini money. Says the Rambam, nevertheless, Mois hanimtzois b'Yerushalayim. Money that's found in Jerusalem, just cash. Afilu dinrei zohav im hakesef ve'im hamois. Even if you find a mixture of golden coins, silver coins, copper coins, which usually indicated Maaser Sheini, because people didn't just mix up coins, except if it was Maaser Sheini. Harei elu chulin. Nevertheless, they're considered to be chulin. And the Rambam adds, Hoyil v'shuke Yerushalayim miskabdin b'chol yom. Since the marketplaces or the streets of Jerusalem were swept every day. As the commentators explain it, what it means like this. It means 2 things. First of all, during the majority of the year, people are not coming from the rest of Israel. So that's one reason to consider most of the money to be ordinary money. The thing is that it could be that there was some money that fell from one of the pilgrims who came for the Shlosh Regalim before, and it stayed in Yerushalayim's streets. So for that, the Rambam adds, no, they swept Yerushalayim streets every day. So therefore, whatever you find during the majority of the year is considered regular money. If you find a piece of pottery on which it says Maaser with the money, that's for sure a sign of Maaser Sheini.
You have to bring it. You have to bring it.
You have to treat it as holy, yeah. When do we say this? The rest of the year. During the time of Regalim, everybody's around, even if you're sweeping it up every day, but the people that are in Yerushalayim are the people that are coming to visit Yerushalayim with their Maaser Sheini money. Halacha Yud, Mois Hanimtsois. Lifnei Soichare Behema, Yerushalayim. This is an actual store. It's called Bet HaChayot. They actually sell live animals here. But in those days, this was a common business. People in Yerushalayim were selling livestock all the time, especially because that's where the Holy Temple was, and whenever you wanted to get a korban, you went to the nearest livestock shop. So the Rambam says, if you find cash in front of livestock merchants in Yerushalayim, l'oilam Maaser. Whether it's during the time of year or Regalim, it's always Maaser. Shechezkas roiv ha'am mevi'in mois Maaser v'koinen by behemes, because the presumption is that most of the people that go there are bringing money of Maaser Sheini and buying animals. Any money that you find, however, on the Temple Mount, on Harabayis, la'olam chulin, they're always ordinary money. Why are they always ordinary money? Because shechezkasan mitrumas halishka, they're presumed to come from the temple treasury. Commentaries explain, because we're going to see later in the next book, that you actually can't bring money onto the Temple Mount. As a regular person, you can't bring cash. So the only place that could be cash from is from temple treasury. Now, temple treasury is usually holy money. So why is that not a problem? Says the Rambam adds these words, Shechililum hagizbarin al behema. You can almost be certain that the treasurers transferred the holiness to an animal. They don't leave cash just holy. Halacha Yud Aleph, Teva. You have a box, shenishtamish b'chulin u Maaser Sheini. That you used it for both chulin money and Maaser Sheini money. V'nimtza b'sei chamois, and boom, now you find cash in it. What's the default status of this cash? Im reiv manichin Maaser, harei hamois Maaser. If most of the people that put money in the box are putting Maaser Sheini money, then you follow the majority. It's Maaser Sheini. V'im reiv manichin chulin, chulin. If most of the people are putting in chulin stuff, it's chulin. Mechza lemechza chulin. If it's half-half, the Rambam rules leniently. We consider it chulin. The commentaries argue, they say it should be Maaser Sheini. Usually when we're half-half, we always go stringently. Here the Rambam goes leniently. Halacha Yud Beis, Matzah Peiros, Bein Peiros Maaser, Le Peiros Truma. Okay? So here I put Maaser and chulin, but let's imagine this is Truma, okay? So you have two piles. Excuse the noise coming from the outside, they're cleaning up over here in the street. You have Maaser Sheini money and, Maaser Sheini produce and Truma produce. And then you find produce in between. Okay, now obviously this picture is inaccurate because if it's three different species, then you know what's what. Let's say it's all oranges, okay? Yiplu lakarev. So the Rambam says the ones in between go to whatever's closer. Closer to the Maaser Sheini, Maaser Sheini. Closer to the Truma, Truma. Mechza lemechza, if it's half-half, ye'achlu kechumrei shneihen. You have to treat it as both Truma and Maaser Sheini and apply all the stringencies. Which means, asurin lezarim, u'te'unin rechitzas yadayim, ve'harev shemesh ki Truma. Like Truma, they cannot be eaten by non-priests. You have to wash your hands before you eat them. And if you were impure, you went to the mikveh, you have to wait till the sun sets before you eat Truma. So in that way, you consider these fruit like Truma. On the other hand, va'asurim lo'einin, u'te'unim havas makoim k'maiser. They're forbidden to a person who's in deep mourning the first day. And they also have to be brought to Jerusalem like Maaser Sheini. V'chein hamois hanimtsois bein chulin l'maiser. Same rule would apply if it's chulin and Maaser, as in this picture. The one in the middle would go, if it was closer to Maaser, closer to chulin, and if it's in the middle, you go with the stringencies of both. Yud Gimel, Maaser Sheini shel demai v'shel vadai shenis arvu. What if you have two types of Maaser Sheini? One was questionable Maaser Sheini, one was definite Maaser Sheini. Says the Rambam, ye'achlu kechamur shebahen. You treat it all like the stricter one. Of course, the stricter one is regular Maaser Sheini. We learned in chapter 3 that you can't eat it if you're in state of deep mourning. You can't give it to an unlearned Jew. You can't deposit it by any Jew. You can't destroy a little bit of it while you're traveling. We learned yesterday that you have to add a fifth if it's your own definite Maaser, not demai Maaser. In a couple of days, we're going to learn that every couple of years you have to get rid of all the Maaser. If it's Demai, you don't have to get rid of it. So when there's a mixture, you always go with the stricter one, which is definite Maaser Sheini. Halacha Yudalet. Peiros Maaser shenis arvu bepeiros chulin. You have a mixture, Maaser Sheini produce with chulin produce. Ye'achel hakol betara b'makom. Either bring everything to Jerusalem, eat it in a state of purity, or yifta as Maaser, or you got to redeem the Maaser onto other money. Lefichach, therefore, im nisarvu b'Yerushalayim. If they got mixed up in Yerushalayim, where you can't redeem Maaser Sheini, asurin bekol shehein, or other texts have oisrin bekol shehein biminon. As long as it's the same species, even the smallest amount of Maaser Sheini forbids the entire mixture. Why? Hoyil v'hu b'Yerushalayim, since you're in Jerusalem, hareu kedavar sheyesh lematirin. It's treated like something which can become permitted. Whenever you have a mixture, let's say chametz on Pesach, right? The smallest amount of chametz forbids the mixture. Why? Because chametz will be permitted after Pesach. So here also, the Maaser Sheini will be permitted if you eat it in a state of purity. Therefore, even the smallest amount ruins the entire mixture. Via ochel hakil betara, everything must be eaten in a state of purity. In the end of the halacha, we have the word biminon over there. The Kesef Mishnah changes it to kiminyan. It should be forbidden like things that are usually counted. It's another category of stuff that have a higher level of prohibition. But the standard text in many Rambams today is biminon. Tesvav. Hazareya Maaser Sheini achar shenichnas l'Yerushalayim. You plant Maaser Sheini seeds once it's already been brought into Jerusalem. Hagidulim Maaser Sheini. Whatever grows from that is considered Maaser Sheini. Zroi kaidem she'yikonis. If you planted it before it came into Jerusalem, Hagidulin chulin. Whatever grows is chulin, regular grain. Va'afilu bedavar she'ein zarei kole. Even if it's a thing where the seed doesn't decompose, so you actually have the original Maaser Sheini, doesn't matter. You planted it outside of Jerusalem, you're good. What you should do though, you should redeem it when you plant it so that all the holiness goes off. Halacha Tezayin says that Rambam, I have a riddle for you. Maaser Sheini batal b'roif. Our sages said that there's a case where Maaser Sheini becomes nullified in a simple majority. Now we just said 2 halachas ago that if a Maaser Sheini mixes, then even the smallest amount ruins the whole thing. But there is a case where Maaser Sheini is cancelled in just a majority. Be'ezeh Maaser amru. Which case is that? A very, very far-fetched case. Maaser shenichnas l'Yerushalayim v'yatza. Maaser Sheini was brought into Jerusalem, then it left, v'naflu mechitzos, and the walls of Yerushalayim fell down. If the walls of Yerushalayim fell down, now you're stuck. Shaharei ein sham mechitzos lahachzir l'sham. Usually when Maaser Sheini goes out, you have to bring it back. But here there are no walls to bring it back to. The walls just fell. You also can't redeem it because it's been inside Yerushalayim before the walls fell. Even though there's no worth of a pruta, it's a very small amount, doesn't make a difference. So now it's an object which cannot be permitted because you cannot redeem it, and therefore it's cancelled in a simple majority, as we've explained in the laws of forbidden foods, that whenever something cannot be permitted, a simple majority is enough to nullify it. This would be the one case where Maaser Sheini would also be nullified in a simple majority.